Shabbat Shalom, everyone, as we enter this space on this special Shabbat, a Shabbat where we are celebrating and lifting up refugees, a Shabbat that is called the Shabbat of the Refugee by Hayas, a wonderful organization that works with immigrants and with refugees. This special Shabbat invites us at this moment, if you feel comfortable, as you see the name that is the name on the box, as it were, the name that names you, to invite in your ancestors, where you might want to say where you're from or where ancestors hail from tonight, as you might see Rabbi David Ingber from Tarnów, Poland, and from Hamburg in Berlin. Maybe someone like that is in your name as well, as we bring all of those who came before also with us, the angels above us, below us, behind us, into the space. Ay, da da, hey da da, hey da da, di da da, da da da, hey da da. Good Shabbos, all of you who are here to preheat, as it were, this beautiful space together. Shabbat Shalom to Nigel and to Shelley and Carmi, wherever he is, and to the delicious people, all of them, all of the wonderful people here with us tonight. So as you take off the big dechol, the daily garments, which can include not only the shirts and the pants, but also the faces that we wear and the to-do lists that we make. There's lots of ways to take off the week and to put on Shabbat. Could just be turning to someone and saying, hey, it's Shabbat. Did you know it's Shabbat? Shelley, I see you talk. Yeah, there you go. It's Shabbat. So put some love in the pot and stir it up, because it's Shabbat. And you're in a space of safety and security and connection with the ancestors who live and breathe through you in this moment. Gande, 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 na, ufros chaviri alai, etzuka, suka, shlo mecha. Join us. Gane, 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 na, ufros chaviri alai, aleinu, oh, etzuka, suka, shlo mecham. You sing. Ufros, every breath is your sukkah. You breathe with peace, you exhale with safety. Let joy rise as the heart opens. Let's go sing to Shabbat.
Ya ya da da da, ya ya da da da, ya da 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 da, Adonai, Naria Latzorishenu, Nekad Mafana Vetoda, Bizmirod Naria Lo, Arbaim Shana Akut Bedor Am Toy Levahem Arbaim Shana Akut Bedor Am Toy Levahem Lo yadu derachai, lo yadu derachai. Yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, hi da da da, hi da da, hi da da. Shiru Adonai Shir Kaddish, Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai Baruch Shemo, Basra Miyom Liyom Yeshuato, Saku Vagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Gadol Adonai Ulomeo Dorahu Al Kol Elohim Ki Kol Elohim Elihi Adonai Shamayim Basa Odehada Lefanav Oz Tiferet Mikdacho Bechotami, Havul Adonai Kavod Ba'olos, Havul Adonai Kevod Shemo, Zehu Mechavot Chatzotav, Achavul Adonai, Behagrat Kodesh, Chilu Mipanav Kol, Haaretz Zimibru Lakayim Adonai Malach, Avtiko Tevel, Baal Timot, Yadin Amim B'Meshavim, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירמיה ומלוא יעלה שדי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל הצייר לפני אדוני כי בא לשפוט הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק ואמין באמונתו איי 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 ננהו איי איי מראי איי 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 נראי נראי איי נראי Hi, nanai, 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 nanai. Oh, yo, ya, da, da, ya. Oh, yo, ya, da, da, ya.
Mizmor leDavid, Avul Adonai Ne'elim, Avul Adonai Kavod va'oz, Avul Adonai Kerot Shemo Ishtachavu Adonai Hadrat Kodesh Kol Adonai Alamayim El Kavod Yirim Adonai Alamayim Rabim Kol Adonai Ba'koach Kol Adonai Behadar Kol Adonai Shover Azim Rehaber Adonai Et Arzei Albanon Vayakidem Kemo Egel Levanon Vesirion Kemo Ben Reimi Mayai Kol Adonai Chotep Lavotesh Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kaddish Kol Adonai Cholel Ayalot Vayechesov Uechalot Kulo Merkabod Adonai Lama Yashar Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'amo Yiten Adonai Yavarech Et Amo V'Shalom Hay 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 The voice of God shatters everything, just like the tablets shatter. The brokenness is in the world. We retain it with the wholeness together.
As we come to the end of the week, as Maya just said, the sixth psalm brings the shattered power of the divine and our obligation on Shabbat to return all the light, as it were, to its source, to relocate in a world of divine hiddenness. Yachid Ge'eh. Yachid Ge'eh. Li'amcha fenei. Zochrei. 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 Kedusha secha. Ayin, ayin, anayin. Yedin, ayin, ayin, anayin. Yedin, ayin, anayin. Oh, anayin, anayin. Oh, from Yachid, Yachid Ge'eh, Le'amecha Fenei, Le'amecha Fenei, Zochrei, 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 Kedusha Secha. So I invite you, each and every one of you, to take a moment here. If you're already seated, great. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Feel the seat beneath you and the back that supports you. Gently dropping the chin, allowing yourself to have just the right amount of exertion to release. Not crumbling into a little puddle, although maybe some of us feel that way at this moment. Just allowing breath to open the body and the heart to make room for Shabbat. Not erasing the week, just in a way inviting it, as it were, to be settled, to be vayinafash, to exhale. And with each and every inhale, not efforted and not another task to do, but just to breathe and be breathed. Allowing there to be a bit more room in the throat and maybe in other parts of the body that you bring awareness to as we sit together. On the Shabbat of making space for those who come to our shores, I'm reminded of the Kotzker Rebbe who said to a student who wondered, "Where is God?" To which the Kotzker said, "Wherever we let her in. Wherever we let Shabbat in, wherever we let the divine come in, what might that feel like to make space for, make room for Shabbat at this moment?" As we breathe together, one breath in now, gently making room. One of God's favorite nicknames is Makom, space. And in this week's Torah portion, God says to Moshe, Hine Makom iti. And that with me there's makom, there's room, there's space. So another gentle breath as we do the work of making space for the divine guest, for the Shabbat guest. And as we turn ourselves to these words, you might keep your eyes closed, from our teacher and Romemu congregant, Rabbi Jill Hammer. The title of her poem is Golden Calf. I confess it didn't look like God to me, but maybe it looked like God to someone. One never knows what that one looks like, as seen behind a cloud on the top of a mountain, or hiding in a scraggly thorn bush among sheep, or in the howl of wind moving the sea, slipping children out of a womb into freedom, or maybe tucking a blanket into a floating basket. And when they later said, no, that's not what God looks like, you deserve to die for making such an error, how could you mistake a gold monstrosity for God? I thought you too mistake things for God. Priests and prophets with staves and snakes, laws engraved in stone the way your household is organized, who's on top and who isn't. You too grope toward the ineffable, weaving cherubim into a curtain that screens nothing. If it was a mistake, it's one among 1,000 mistakes, like a straw among piles of hay. Perhaps before we point fingers, before we shatter tablets and set kin against kin, we should sit in the silence one more minute. We all give our earrings to make something. What's it going to be? As we turn our attention to the divine beloved in the Dodi, we invite in the beloved Shabbat.
Chadodi likras kala. Yadadai, dadadai, 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 dadadai. Te Shabbos nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad Hishmi'anu Ela meyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad Shemo tiferet Velitila Hayayam Adadai Hayadadai Adadai Hayadadai Chadodi likras kala Hadadam Hayadadai 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 Pnei Shabbos nekabela
Adonai likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha hi mekol haberacha Yadadai meirosh mikedem nesucha sof maseh Machshava techila Yadalai ladalai lai ladalai la ladalai la 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 lecha dodi likras kala. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 v'nei Shabbos nekavela.
Mikdash melech, hier melucha, kol mitzei mitoch ha'afecha, lav lach shevet v'mekabacha, zehu yachamo Alaychema, ya 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 da da ya da da ya da da ya da da, Chadodi lekrat kala, ya da da ya da da ya da da ya da da, ha da da, Shabbos nekavela.
Ay, ay, oh, he's nari. Ay, may afar kumi. Ay, leave shay big day. Ay, tifar techami. Oh, al yad ben yishai. Ay, beis alachmi. Ay, korbael. Ay, nafshi ge'ala. Ay, araram bararai, anararai, amararai. Hararai, l'chadodi likras kala. Ay, amaram nararai, ayararai, amararai. Hararai, v'nei Shabbos nekabela.
Adonai Yisareri, Yisareri, Kiva Odech, Gumi Ori, Yavabai, Al Yad Ben Ishai, Veisalachmi, Karva El Nafshi. I think I just did the last stanza. Kiva Shir da Beiri, Kevod Havaya, Alayich Nigla, Yalalai, Lalalai, Lalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai, Lechadodi, Likras Kala, Yalalai, Lalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai. B'nei Shabbos nekavela. One more time. Yala lai la la lai lai la la lai yai la la lai yai la la lai. Invoking our ancestors here right now. Yala lai la la lai yai la la lai yai la la lai yai la la la. B'nei Shabbos nekavela.
שלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה שבת המלכה, היי לך דודי, היי לקראת כלה, היי פלא שבת, פלא שבת מקבלה, היי לך דודי, היי לקראת כלה, היי פלא שבת, פלא שבת
And bring to the space those who are in need of healing tonight. Please sing with us as we pray. Even though it's Shabbat, Shabbatim lezoach, but refuah krova lavo, that there be a healing speedily, quickly, in every dimension. Healer of the broken hearted, binder of our wounds, counter of uncountable stars. You know who we are. הרופא לשבורי לב ומחבש עצבוסם, מונה מספר לכוכבים, לכולם שמות יקרא. Rifan nada, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. May there be healing in body, heart, mind, and spirit, and let us all say, Amen. Good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Good
Shabbos Chazan Shekter. Shabbos Maya. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
See that you're from. Let's see, Maya. Where's your ancestry from?
Zinkiv. So that's the proper pronunciation of my last name, Zinkiv, and Odessa.
Okay. How about you, Chazan Shechter?
Lumzitz in Galicia, and another little town near Galicia and Riga.
Nice.
Latvia.
Yeah, Latvia and some Galicianas. My family's originally from Tarnov in Poland, and then also my father came through, at least on my father's side, Russia. I'm sorry, through Hamburg and Berlin, and my mother's side, Russia. Wow. A lot of us coming from many different places, many different places that we've arrived to where we are here today. And some of us are actually here through Zoom, not in the United States of America. We also welcome you here. We welcome everyone. We're so excited that you're here. We're going to put up some resources for the community, some announcements that our executive director, Jeffrey Kahn, and I will give over. Hi, Jeffrey. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Nu Peretz Cohen, where's your family from? Or your ancestry?
So my mom is from Poland. She grew up in a little town called Przemyśl, and my dad is from Frankfurt, Germany. You know, born on the same year as your dad, from the same country, Rabbi.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. We have a couple of things to let you guys all know about, and then we'll come back to the highest refugee Shabbat in a moment. But the Romemu Well, is a remarkable resource for our community, our adult education. Through the well, there are some incredible classes that have already started last week, and that will also, more classes are on the way. So that's for you to know. And in addition to the well, we also have the Romemu Yeshiva, which will begin this week on March 7th with five remarkable offerings. Take a look at our website for romemu.org announcements. That hyperlink is in the chat area. But just so you know, all the classes in both the well and in the yeshiva are for everyone. All the classes are for everyone. Just a slight emphasis that changes in the yeshiva, more of a focus on spiritual practice as contemplation or as neo-Hasidism. But all of these classes are for everyone. So we hope that you will avail yourselves of these wonderful resources.
You know, and by the way, I just want to say, Rabbi David, your new class, One God Clapping, sold out very quickly, but because of that, we are opening up more spaces. So if anybody tried to register and got either on the wait list or, full up, don't worry, everyone's going to get in. We're gonna make it possible. Okay. We do spirituality beautifully, as everybody knows, but spirituality doesn't stop at the borders of the service. We encourage everybody to get politically involved, and two opportunities coming up. One at the JCC, go check out what the mayoral candidates have to say, and vote. It's one of the most important things we can do. And a second opportunity has to do with a bill coming up for climate change. Our very own Rabbi Diane Kohler-Esses and Chazan Basya Schechter, we're on the next, will be participating in this event also. So again, we encourage you to get involved politically, exercise your right to vote. And then also exercise your right to avail yourself of vaccines. Obviously this is a game changer for many people. If you're someone that believes, as many of us do, in the power of vaccines, and you need help in any way, whoever's running the slides, you could move forward on this one now. All right. If you need help in any way, it can be very bewildering. There are, wait lists and all. If you want help from our Chesed committee, they are willing to come help get you a vaccine appointment, or at least help you get a vaccine appointment. And also, if you want to help others do that, please reach out to us at chesed at romemu.org.
And moving quickly here, we have three important things to remind you of in the community. First of all, on Saturday, March 20th, which of course is 2 weeks from tomorrow, Kohenet Shabbat, honoring the spring equinox with our Kohenet community, Rabbi Jill Hammer and others. Please don't miss that. It's always incredible. Also next, to let you know that every year, Lori Walco, thank you, Lori, is our lay leader, connecting us with the Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah, reading of the names. That ritual is a profoundly important ritual and very moving as well. And that's coming up. So please note that on Wednesday, April 7th, will be Yom HaShoah, and we'll be sending out more notices for that. And in 2 weeks, we'll be pushing our services back from 6 o'clock to 6:30 as we can feel the days getting longer and spring on the way. And that'll be that in 2 weeks. So note that as well. Finally, this is, as we said, take action for refugees and asylum seekers. There's so much to do this Shabbat tonight, and then tomorrow for our service as well. And then a Havdalah end of Shabbat ceremony tomorrow night, as well as an event on Sunday. All of that to honor Refugee Shabbat, a project of Hayas. And that is also on their website. You can take a look there on how you can get involved in the remaining programming for this coming Shabbat. And of course, tomorrow morning, will be here. I'll be teaching the open book with Rabbi Kolaresis, and then have our services as well on this theme and connecting us with our ancestors. So wonderful. So many wonderful announcements, so many wonderful resources. Thank you, Jeffrey. And now, everybody, we'd love to send you to say hello to one another for only 3 minutes. A 3 minute touch base with other people who are here in the Zoom room tonight. It's a breakout room, and we hope that you'll avail yourselves of that. And when you go into the breakout rooms, in addition to saying who you are and just what's going on, just in a 1 minute check in, also maybe sharing where your ancestors are from, whether you're here in the United States as an immigrant or your family came here or in any other way, right? We have members of our community who don't actually experience themselves as immigrants, and just invoking your ancestors. Who are your ancestors and how are they with you here tonight? So we're going to send you into these rooms, and in 4 minutes, we'll see you back here as we begin the evening services, and I get a chance to say hello to people who are here for the first time. So 3 minutes, who you are, where you're from, a check-in, and your ancestors or where you hail from, as it were. See you soon, everybody. As we welcome everyone back, we'd love to say hello. If you're here for the first time in the chat area, we'd love to lift you up and say, hey, welcome. Welcome to Romemu. Welcome to this Zoom community for the moment. The Zoomamu. Here we are. Where are you? Any first timers would like to, in the chat area, just who you are, where you're from, and you'll see a lot of people are so curious to say hello. Anybody here for the first time? Feel free also to rename yourself and to put in some of the ancestors that you brought with you into the Ma'ariv. Anybody would like to raise your hand, we'd love to be able to hear your voice and have you stand up and introduce yourself here. Anybody want to say hello who is here for the first time? Welcome, Kim, from your new home. Anybody want to raise your hand and we'll unmute you as soon as you raise your hand? Some of you might not be able to figure out what raising your hand looks like in the Zoom room, but hopefully you can. It's in the chat area. Should be able to find a raising hand function.
Go, Mom. Go.
What?
Say your name.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Lois, Kyalea.
Chayaleya. Baruch Hashem. It's so good to wish you good Shabbos, Chayaleya. Where are you?
I'm in St. Louis Park, Minnesota.
In Minnesota. I see Maya going, I know Minnesota. Welcome from Minnesota. Just imagine all you Romemu people.
From?
It's my mom. It's my mom. She's 92.
Kinei Nahara.
Amen.
Amen. Imagine, Romemu people, imagine we're in the sanctuary and they just stood up, okay? And we all said, hey, it's so good to have you here. Good Shabbos. Welcome from Minnesota. Let's see, who else is here? Thank you, Kathy Lynn. Who else is here? Eileen, go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, I'm in Denver, and I miss you guys.
We miss you.
But I've been going to the synagogue, Rosh Kodesh, and actually, Zalman's widow is amazing, and she teaches amazing classes.
Amazing.
And she loves you, David, and Eve, yeah.
I know Eve Ilson. So we're so happy you're with us from Denver. See, you moved away, but you're still with us. So welcome from Denver to Eileen Fisher. Hi, Ashira. Go ahead.
Yes, just hello, everyone. I live in San Francisco, but I went to St. Louis Park High. That is my hometown.
Amazing.
So just had to say a raw for St. Louis Park. And before that, the family came from Russia all the way back. But depending on the year, it was Latvia or Lithuania.
Wow. I see a lot of people in the chat area doing the same thing. Ashira from St. Louis. I see you wrote that in. There's Ariella is telling us that her family's from Lubachau. Nikki's from Germany, Poland, and Russia. Look at this. Keep putting them in here, guys. Put them in there. Who else wanted to say hello who's here for the first time? Thank you, Ashira. Anyone else? We're so happy. Where did Eileen go? Eileen, come on back. We want to ask you something. Where are you, Eileen? Eileen Fisher, where'd you go? Eileen, you didn't tell us what ancestor you're bringing.
Oh, yeah. So on my father's side, they're from Galicia, Schwarzbards.
Okay.
And on my mother's side, my grandfather was from Lodz.
Okay. There you go. Wow. Beautiful.
Yep.
So beautiful. All right, we're bringing them all with us. Let's all rise together with all of our ancestors and with all the people we hear for the first time and who are continuing to write to us from so many places, from Cleveland and Romania and Greece. Ah, Geschmack, it's really beautiful. David says his father's from Budapest, which is wonderful. Really. And let's see. Janice, of course. Ancestors from Poland, from Austria-Hungary, from Munkac, from Kremenchuk, Russia. Let's rise for the Baruch Hu. Ay, ay, la da da, la da da da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Baruch Hu, we rise with all of you. We rise with all of you. Adonai Hamevorah.
And Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam va'ed. Ruchat Shekhinah Eloheinu Ruach haolam Asher bidvara Mariva Haravim.
You may be seated, everyone.
Tamid timloch aleinu le'olam va'ed yavavaydaydai ruchat shekhinah hamariva haravi.
Amen. Avat Olam. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, under this same sky, in other places around the globe, people looked to the heavens and said, Avat Olam Beit Yisrael, with a love that brings us forward, an eros that never ever stops, a chiyut and aliveness, a profound love. V'avatcha al taser mimenu, ay 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 le'olamin. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ay 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 ay.
The 6-word memoir of the Jewish people for all time. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. Inscribe it on your heart, just as I will inscribe the words on the tablets. Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha v'beitecha v'lechtecha v'derech, v'b'shokbecha v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'yayu l'tatafot beinenecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha v'yisharecha. They shall be a sign on your body and in your homes for all time. והים שמוע תשמעו נפשכם ונתתים לארצכם ויתעורר מקוש ועשת דגל נפשכם וקשרתם אותם להיות על ידיכם והיו צדפות בעיניכם ולימדתם אותם את בניכם. Teach them to your children, speak of them when you sit in your house and when you go on your way, so that you know when you enter your home it's a home that all are welcome in. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורתם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף את תכלת והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. The Sfas Emes teaches us that when God created the first set of tablets, when God created the tablets and engraved them, that all of God's commandments were engraved on each of the hearts of the people of Israel. So even when the tablets were shattered, we carry these truths, emes, we carry the truth on our hearts. The truth of a God who made space for us, who literally made space for us in the middle of the sea and set us free so that we would never ever again oppress a stranger, for we were strangers before we were free. And we sang this song. Mi chamocha
Mi chamocha
ba'elim Adonai,
ba'elim Adonai,
mi kamocha
mi kamocha
nehedar b'kodesh,
nedar b'kodesh,
norah
Nora
tehilot
Tehilot
oseh
Oseh
Fele
Fele
Mimalchusecha
Malechutecha Ra'u Banecha
Ravanecha
Bokei Hayam
Aibokei Hayam
Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam
Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam
Zeili
Daily
Anu v'yamru
Anu ve'amaru
Adonai לעולם ועד.
לעולם ועד.
ונאמר,
ונאמר,
כי פדה אדוני את יעקב,
פדה אדוני את יעקב,
וגאלו,
וגאלו,
מיד חזק ממנו,
מיד חזק ממנו.
ברוך
ברוך
אתה אדוני,
אתה אדוני,
גאל,
גאל
ישראל.
Israel.
We ask for protection, for canopy of peace surrounding us from our impatience, from our anger, from our inability to see the light that comes from seeing the divine things. Protection, protection, a veil of comfort, of love and peace. Ufros aleinu et sukat
Yifros aleinu suka shlomecha, Baruch ata Adonai, Hapore suka shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise if you are able. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורוסם בריסודם ישראל עושי לעולם אישי שסיימים עשה אדוני את השמיים יש הארץ וביום השביעי Shavas vayinav.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד יברך ירותי וימלך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחייתך בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mivorach, לעולם יומי אלמיה יתברך, וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה, מן כבד חסה ושירסה, תושבחסה ונחמסה, דאמירן בעלמא אין לרסי.
Amen.
We take a few minutes here, everyone, to be in silence, in meditation, or in the words of the Amidah.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddle masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shores, sending you homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddle masses, yearning to be free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, Sadly, you're homeless, tempest tossed. Tell me, I left my lamp beside the golden door. I left my lamp beside the golden door. I left my lamp beside the golden door.
When Hayes decided that this would become this year's Shabbat, would be Refugee Shabbat, would take place on Parshat Ki Tisa, the Parsha of tomorrow morning's Torah reading. The Parsha, the portion of the Torah that deals most centrally with the question of idolatry, the question of scaling heights at Sinai only to fall precipitously in the realities of the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf. I think that the lessons of what it means to be a refugee and what is the issues of refugee status and immigration are not very clearly represented by tomorrow morning's reading. But I'd like to take a journey with you that will take us back to the 4th century and take us to the end of tomorrow morning's reading to understand a little bit of the depth of what I think happens when we have conversations about ger, about immigrants, and about quote-unquote others, in order to really take a journey into the story and to paint a picture for you of what it looked like to those who read the Torah, who read the Bible, our sacred literature, who were not literate in Hebrew, who were not those who grew up in the mores and in the structures of Torah, of Bible, for those who lived outside of the Hebrew-speaking world, or those who read the Torah in its original. If one wanted to understand sacred writ, one would turn to the Septuagint and some other Greek translations that satisfied most of the ancient world. But as the turn towards the Roman Empire expanded the reach of Torah, of the Bible, a need for a Bible not in the Greek, but in the lingua franca of the majority of the Church of Rome, right? The majority of Western Christians who didn't speak Greek but spoke Latin. That need was met. That need was met by an ambitious man named Jerome, who later became Saint Jerome. He made it his mission to faithfully translate the Greek translation of the Torah into Latin. It later became known, the translation became known as the Vulgate, which meant the popular or the popularized version of the Torah, of the Bible. And he labored over it for 15 years, from 390 of the Common Era till 405 of the Common Era. This masterpiece became the authoritative Catholic edition of the Bible, a status that it retains to this day. When Jerome, Saint Jerome, came to tomorrow morning's Torah portion, to the latter part of the chapter 34 of the book of Exodus, when he came to the story in the Bible where Moses descends from Mount Sinai after the destruction of the tablets with the second set of tablets, the Torah tells us that when Moses descends, Ki karan or panav, verse 29 and 30 in Exodus 34, that the face of Moshe was karan or panav, that his face, panav, was or, meaning light, or with skin, which means, right, or with an ayin, which means skin. His skin was karan. When Jerome came to these verses, he faced a quandary that would have powerful impact on the future of Christendom and on the relationship between the Jews and Christianity. He had 350 places within Torah where the word face appeared. The word skin, or with an ayin, appears 85 times, but the word karan that described the face of Moshe appeared only 3 times in the Bible, and the 3 times it appeared were right here, on that spot, in the story of Moshe's return from the mountain. He had sources in other parts of the Bible that spoke to the word karan. In other places in the Torah, The word Keren or Karan referred to horns, referred to Karnei Re'em Karnav, the horns of an ox or the horns of a ram horn. This was one option. There were other places, such as other places in Torah, where the Greek translation of Karan was glorified, as in kavod, as in a heaviness, a beauty, a majesty. Before Jerome, in his monumental and far-reaching popular version of the Torah, were two options on how to translate that Moses' face was Keren or Karan. He had before him the literate translation, the absolute literal. His head was full of horns, or his head had horns, or the more metaphorical one, where the glory of God was made manifest through the beams of light that streamed from Moshe's face. When Jerome came to translate that term, he had a choice. And that choice would lay out before him how future generations of Christians would perceive this moment in Torah. Would Moshe be perceived as one who was dignified through the glory and the light of the divine that shone from his face? Or would Moshe be one who had horns? Now, for most Hebrew readers, having horns in this way might just speak to a certain majesty, a certain glorified quality. But certainly Jerome, as many scholars have pointed out, and in particular in the writings of Stephen Bertman in his paper on this, it wasn't lost on Jerome that the word horn or Keren appears 9 times in the book of Revelations. It wasn't lost on Jerome that to depict Moses, someone who represented the Old Testament, the Torah that was being replaced by Jesus and the New Testament, and to demonize him and to take his dignified divine glow and instead place in its place a demonic version, a version of Moses that would depict him as slightly satanic, would go a long way towards expressing a hatred that he had towards the Jew. In the writings of Bertman, he writes, for Saint Jerome, the translation spoke to a choice between dignity and hatred. And Jerome chose hatred. What later became Michelangelo's horned Moshe in the Sistine Chapel spoke of a translation that was lost. And what was lost in translation was the profound dignity and beauty of Moshe's revelation at Sinai, and what spoke through his face as the epitome of what a human being could become and could be was hidden behind a grotesque hatred and accusation that then became the bedrock of an anti-Semitic Middle Ages, and so on and so on. Jerome had a choice. Jerome had a choice to choose one way or the other, to recognize that translation from the holy rays to the horned, from the dignified divine to the demonic and degraded, would have implications that would be far-reaching. This choice between how we translate reality, whether we choose one or the other, one frame to use vis-a-vis whom we meet, is at the core, I think, of a conversation about how we speak about those who come to seek shelter, those who come to seek safety, those who come knocking on our doors, those who are searching to be free, and to whom we lift the lamp beside the golden door. What is lost in translation all too frequently is a projected hatred, an a priori understanding of the other as dangerous, as threatening. That a priori, that what we bring to the story, the way that we bring it, the ways that we choose an implausible over a plausible, the ways that we feed into fears as opposed to quieting them with the rational and with evidence, with data, and fundamentally with our belief that in every human being there is the light of the divine that shines from their face. That to me is at the core of a conversation about us as a people, this community, and this broader American community as a nation. We have been living over the last 4 years, though this past administration is by no means the only one that targeted refugees and others who were seeking asylum. We were living with the very epitome of a cruelty that was founded on lies about the other, seeing in them not the dignified but the demonic. Lies that defaced them, that deformed them, that denigrated and denuded the divine dignity that each human being bears. We've lived in a lie that allows us to turn away from them with policies that did not protect their children, that separated them, that didn't seek to offer them safety and solace, but rather to turn them back. We are soaked in mistranslations like these, lost translations that have colored and have blinded us in our daily encounters with those who have come seeking our refuge. We have consistently been brought before two narratives that vie for our attention, ones that cast others in the best light and those that would not. We have often responded with wisdom and clarity, but more often than we'd like to admit, we have found it difficult, if not impossible, to discern where we bring our biases, where our a priori assumption of anger and hate colors the way that we look at the world, whether we choose the holy or the horned. A refugee is a person who has been forced to flee their home country due to persecution because of either race or religion, nationality, or political opinion, or their membership in a particular group, let's say members of an LGBTQI community. The persecution of the refugee, the experience that they have, it may include harassment, threats, abduction, torture. They are often afforded legal protection by their host country's government or the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, or both. But in the United States, refugees are hand-selected by the U.S. government, and they are screened in advance. Refugees are the most vetted individuals who come to our shores. Refugees are more than likely, 82% of them are more than likely to be a part of the workforce than as opposed to 67% of those who are native born here in this country. They contribute more. They are safer than. And yet lies and lost in translation moments have been what we have been fed. In the United States, our quota in the Trump administration was down to 15,000 resettled refugees, and we're not even going to make that for this year. The lowest number in recorded history. And so as we lift up where we ourselves, many of us, not all, where we ourselves fled, we ourselves were demonized or othered, where we ourselves, as the Torah will tell us each and every Shabbat, were once gerim, we were once seen as the other, the one who was hopelessly mistranslated and missed. We have an opportunity to act, to vote for, to speak out against, and to refuse a narrative that others, to refuse a narrative that belittles, that refuses a narrative rooted in hatred that is brought into the moment. We refuse to do unto others what was so often done to us. We know better. Tomorrow morning's Torah portion not only speaks about idolatry vis-a-vis the Egel HaZahav, vis-a-vis the golden calf, but another kind of idolatry more pernicious, more insidious, and more dangerous, where we use our eyes to mistranslate a world, to buy into a lie that sees in the divine dignity a defect, and gives others permission then to denigrate that beauty, to miss it. May God give us the strength to act today, this weekend, in weeks ahead, as we continue to pull ourselves out of the crisis of conscience It is so boldly seen as a form of idolatry to miss the other and the opportunity that we have to show great strength and great love and great power in making space. I hope that we bring it into our hearts, that we are the people of the door. We lift this lamp beside the golden door. Please rise for V'hashevota. We take it into our hearts. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim v'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim Einon milvado Einon Efes ulato Einon milvado Einon Efes ulato
Ashevota elevavecha ki havaya hi Elohim Ashevota elevavecha ki havaya hi Elohim Heinon milvado Heinon Efes ulato Heinon milvado Heinon Efes ulato
V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim v'hashevota el levavecha ki Havaya hi Elohim Einon milvado Einon efes ulato Einon milvado Einon efes ulato
Nemar. One day, one day, one day. Vayom Ahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushemo, Ushema, Ushema. Give me your tire, and on that day Adonai Echad. Into this sacred space where room and space has been created for the divine. Hinei makom iti. Into this space of compassion, love, awareness, resolve, remembrance. We invite the memory of all loved ones this evening who are being held, ancestors from all over. All of those who will never be forgotten. Some of you within the first week of mourning, some of you within the first month, some of you within a yortzeit, a year and beyond, as we invite you to read these names, to bring them with you into the mourner's Kaddish. Tonight we lift up Shalom and Moshe Leib, Shulamit, uncle of Ben Prostine, Carolee Kamin, Bunny Whaler, and Baxter Primus. Angela Margolis, Leslie Robert Axelrod, Charlotte Figman, Seymour Borstein, Hank Wesselman, Lawrence Ferling, Miles Seaton, Martin Berzow, Laura Nierenberg, Betty Levin, Susie Woloshyansky, Barry, Bear Grushkin, Dave Rostin, Gabriel Gottlieb, Arthur Adler, Gilda Kaufman Rieger, Sarah Marlena Siegman, Evelyn Goodman, Arthur Segal, Jason Andrew Brodsky, Dr. Norman Crane, Solomon Ehrenberg, Cecilia Romo, Stuart Fred Fike, David Renegrat, David Silverstein, Harriet Bloom, Shirley Siegel, Benjamin Wolf Tulushkin, Erwin Bardash, Mr. Elsie Pops, Floyd Lynn Blacker, Magdalena Leva, Nancy Trigger, Barry Kosky, Barry Rifkin, Shirley Gatzik, Evelyn Manorama Goodman, Tuff Sparks, Yitzhak Buxbaum, Maggie Yitzhak Buxbaum, Jean Foreman Shore, Pesach Plager, David Zimmerman, Ruth Schaefer. I want to make sure that I got Aunt Joni's mother, Medina Tzion's father, Avram ben Yehuda Verivka, those who have died trying to escape persecution, violence, and oppression. Yaakov Mendel ben Golda, Rabbi David Cooper, Robert Greats, Magellan Sachs, Mark Evan Weitman, Helene Eilon, and Marie Zati Munajat. Max Javits. Ninun Einun Milvado. Berta Gonzalez, Ana Luisa's mother, Wendy Weiss, Anna Packman, Hal Armon. If you are in the custom of standing and you're able to stand, please rise for the mourners. Phyllis Randman, Isidore Greenberg, Dora Han Greenberg, Shmuel Willinger, Sam Hanlon, Leo Ezra Litvak, Nesha Bat Moshe Vesora Gittel, and Joni's mother, Yiskadal v'Yiskadash Shemei Rabam, Be'alma Divra Chirusei v'Yamlich Machusei B'Chayichon, U'Yomechon u'V'Chayei D'Chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'Izman Koriv, V'imeru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabam Mivorach, V'Yalam u'Yomei Almaya Yitbarach v'Yishtabach v'Yitpa'er, V'Yitromam v'Yitnaseh v'Yitadar v'Yitaleh v'Yitala Shmei D'Kudsha, B'Richu Le'elah, Minikol Birchata v'Shira Tatush B'Chata v'Nechemata Da'amiran B'Olma, V'Imenu Amen Yehei Shlom Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chaim Tovim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imenu Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Nomar, U'Merachamav Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. And let us say, Amen. Into this cup of blessing, my tears, as I remember my Uncle Joe, Yasala, who was 3 years old when he and my father, Sidney, and their parents, Irene and Alex, made their way from Berlin, escaped to the United States. And Joe was an amazing chazan, an amazing prayer leader, and his birthday was just this week, March 1st. And he would often tell the story of what it was like to come into the harbor, what it was like to come in to experience, as it were, the refuge of what Chazan Shechter spoke to, the power of lifting that lamp, right, besides the golden door, what I once called the mezuzah of our country, our Statue of Liberty, of freedom. So for all of those who still lack it and for whom we are fighting for, and for those who are still seeking to find that in America, as we put into this cup of blessing a huge yasher koach to Chazan Shechter, who today had her second shot and is still a trooper and coming through. It's not easy to get the vaccine, And then to have, I could see how much you love this community, how you were singing and bringing your kavanah and your ruach. And I'm so thankful that you got the shot, but it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? So you schlepped all the way up to, all the way. So Yasher Koch to you, to Maya Zinkov from the Heilige Mishpacha of Zinkov, and for all of the inhabitants of Zinkov. Uh-huh. And to our staff. So some thank yous on screen, that you can see the holy rays coming out of these faces, right? So from Rabbi Kolaresis, who will be joining us tomorrow, Rabbi Elster, Rabbi Perlo, Rabbi Rivera, and to Ben Perlstein. We send our love to you, Ben. He unexpectedly lost his uncle this last week, and so what a difficult moment for you and your family, and we're with you, Ben. And to Maya, and to look at all these other people that are supporting the community. Baruch Hashem. Thank you to Jeffrey for tonight, and to, as we move through, all of these wonderful people, and all of you, right? Thank you, Michaeli, and thank you to Eliza Rivka in Costa Rica, and thank you to the entire team, Mamish, the whole team. And we lift this cup with words remembering our ancestors. And as we recall that ancient journey from slavery to freedom, we also think of the many times throughout history that our people have wandered in search of safety. We fill our Kaddish cup to overflowing, hoping that the joy of Shabbat will spread into the week to come. Right into this cup of blessing, which is a remembrance of the holiness of each and every one of us. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבוס ביום השביעי בכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבס מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סהרי חבריי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה ורצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים.
כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
Chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Shabbos, everybody, get Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos to my Saftabani in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Shabbos to all of you. Good Shabbos. Kathy Lynn, good Shabbos to your mom. Good Shabbos, Aunt Joni. Good Shabbos, Carol. Shabbos, Mori. Good Shabbos, Asher Chaim. You might want to stand up, everybody. Oh, Shabbat dance, Shabbos. Shabbos, Ariel. Good Shabbos. Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Shabbos, Tammy, Rob. Shabbos. Shabbos, everyone. Da 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 Shabbos, everyone. We're going to dance together in that sanctuary soon. I promise. Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Bye, Tal.